Greetings, gamers, and welcome to another Misfit Gamer Studios production. I am your host, Vortex. That gentleman over there is your co-host, Kage, and this is your April community stream. On today's episode, the community has voted for another subletting subclasses. Here is the class that we will be subletting today. We will be subletting the Battle Smith Artificer into a new fighter subclass. Join us today as we figure out what the Battle Smith does, how it got its abilities, what the lore is, what its abilities are, and how that's going to apply to a fighter. As always, we are going to first break down what an Artificer Battlesmith does, and then we're going to figure out what each and every one of those abilities is going to look like for a fighter. So first and foremost, let's begin with the Battlesmith Artificer. I have a few things on screen, but I'm also going to pull up the actual Artificer. Okay, so let's dig into this Battlesmith, starting with a little bit of lore. Armies require protection, and someone has to put things back together if defenses fail. A combination of protector and medic, a Battlesmith is an expert at defending others and repairing both materials and personnel. To aid in their work, Battlesmiths are accompanied by a steel defender, a protective companion of their own creation. Many soldiers tell stories of nearly dying before being saved by a Battlesmith and a steel defender. In the world of Eberron, Battlesmiths played a key role in a House Cannith's work on battle constructs and the original Warforged. And after the last war, these artificers led efforts to aid those who were injured in the war's horrific battles. So I'm super excited to really create a healing fighter. I love this idea of a fighter mid-battle being able to like not just buff, but heal his... Okay, I'm digging this already. I'm digging it already. All right, tool proficiencies. When you adopt this specialty at 3rd level, you gain proficiencies with Smith's tools. I mean, I would hope so. If you already have this proficiency, you gain proficiency with one other type of artisan tool of your choice. Battlesmith spells. Starting at 3rd level, you always have certain spells prepared after you reach particular levels in this class, as shown in the Battlesmith spells table. These spells count as artificer spells for you, but they don't count against the number of artificer spells you prepare. The Battlesmith spells include from 3rd to 17th levels things like Heroism, Shield, Branding Smite, Conjure Barrage, Aura of Purity, Fire Shield, and Mass Cure Wounds. Again, I am looking forward to a healing fighter. Wow. And not just one that can heal itself. So at 3rd level, let's begin with the actual subclass abilities. At 3rd level, we get Battle Ready. When you reach 3rd level, your combat training and your experiments with magic have paid off in 2 ways. You gain proficiency with martial weapons. When you attack with a magic weapon, you can use your intelligence modifier instead of strength or dexterity modifier for the attack and damage rolls. Also in 3rd level, you get Steel Defender. By 3rd level, your tinkering has born you a faithful companion, a Steel Defender. It's friendly to you and your companions, and it obeys your commands. See its game statistics in the Steel Defender stat block, which uses your proficiency bonus in several places. You determine the creature's appearance and whether it has 2 legs or 4. Your choice has no effect on its game statistics. In combat, your defender shares your initiative count, but it takes its turn immediately after yours. It can move and use its reaction on its own, but the only action it can take on its turn is the dodge action, unless you take a bonus action on your turn to command it to take another action. That action can be one in its stat block or some other action. If you were incapacitated, the defender can take any action of its choice, not just dodge. If the mending spell is cast on it, it regains 2d6 hit points. If it has died within the last hour, you can use your Smith's tools as an action to revive it, providing you are within 5 feet of it and you expand a spell slot at 1st level or higher. The Steel Defender returns to life after 1 minute with all its hit points restored. At the end of a long rest, you can create a new Steel Defender if you have Smith's tools with you. If you already have a defender from this feature, the first one immediately perishes. The defender also perishes if you die.
Sounds so morbid. It's like, hey, if you got a buddy and you create a new buddy, that first buddy is gonna perish. It's gonna die. Oh, that sounds so aggressive.
I already know the lore I want for the fighter. The lore behind this subclass of fighter is that you were in a battle with one of these artificers and they were a close buddy, or you were the last one they healed, something that brought you two together, and you saw them go down. You tried to defend them, but they went down. And that imparted you onto their construct, who then began to follow you. So we can give the fighter a construct.
Yeah.
So I kind of like the idea that it says it dies when you die, right? It perishes when you die.
Yeah.
Or what if it was a gift, like an old artificer that can no longer adventure, and you helped him out, so he gifted you his companion who wants to help the world. So yeah, I feel like that's what I want to do. I want to give it a companion based off the fact that it had a run-in with one of these artificers
Got you.
and made an impact so the thing followed it down.
Sure.
So I kind of like that, because then we can do the Steel Defender. Then we can give it the Steel Defender, which I think is fine.
Right.
So the Steel Defender is a medium construct, armor class of 15 as natural armor. Hit points are 2 plus your intelligence modifier plus 5 times your artificer level. The defender has a number of hit dice, d8s, equal to your artificer level. It has a speed of 40, has a strength of 14, a dex of 12, constitution of 14, intelligence of 4, wisdom of 10, charisma of 6. Saving throws include dexterity plus 1, plus your proficiency bonus, and constitution plus 2 plus your proficiency bonus. Skills: athletics plus 2 plus your proficiency bonus, perception plus 0 plus your proficiency bonus times 2. Damage immunities is poison, condition immunity, charm, exhaust, poisoned. Senses: dark vision 60, passive perception 10 plus your proficiency bonus times 2. And languages: understands the language you speak, no challenge rating, and it has the proficiency bonus equals yours. And vigilant defender can't be surprised. Action: Force Empowered Rend. It's a melee attack. Your spell attack modifier to hit, reach 5. Your one target you can see. It is a 1d8 plus your proficiency bonus force damage. It can also repair 3 times per day. This magical mechanism inside the defender restores 2d8 plus your proficiency hit points to itself or to one construct or object within 5 feet of it. And it has one reaction: deflect attack. The defender imposes disadvantage on the attack roll of one creature it can see that is within 5 feet, provided the attack roll is against a creature other than the defender. I kind of like that.
Interesting.
So it's kind of like if you're trying to heal your partner, it's there to like basically get in their way to not mess with you. At 5th level, you get extra attack. You can attack twice rather than once when you take the attack action on your turn. At 9th level, you get Arcane Jolt. At 9th level, you learn new ways to channel arcane energy to harm or heal. When either you hit a target with a magical weapon attack or your Steel Defender hits a target, you can channel magical energy through the strike to create one of the following effects. The target takes an extra 2d6 force damage, or choose one creature or object you could see within 30 feet of the target. Healing energy flows into the chosen recipient, restoring 2d6 hit points to it. You can use this energy a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier, minimum of once, but you can do so no more than once on a turn. You regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. An improved defender. At 15th level, your Arcane Jolt and Steel Defender become more powerful. The extra damage and healing of your Arcane Jolt both increase to 4d6. Your Steel Defender gains a +2 bonus to armor class. Whenever your Steel Defender uses its deflect attack, the attacker takes force damage equal to 1d4 plus your intelligence modifier.
Okay.
Kind of like that. Okay, so basically what I'm getting from this is that we are a healer with a minion that basically acts as our shield.
It's almost like extension of you, like able to do something a little bit further off. Because it's a lot of the stuff that you can do can also be triggered when your Steel Defender hits, right?
Right. Okay, so I'm thinking, I mean, Battlefield Medic could be interesting because Battlefield, you still feel like a or a battle medic.
Sure, I do like that. I honestly don't think there is anything like that.
Battle medic, and battle indicates fighter subclass. There's no fighter that heals. So I'm digging this. I really think that this could be it.
Look that up. There's really no fighter that heals?
Other than self-healing, I don't think there's any fighter that focuses on healing others. So I think battle medic is it.
I think you're right. Wild. I mean, like even Monk has a subclass that heals.
Okay, so that's easy. I like that. On YouTube, let us know in the comments. How do you like this name, Battle Medic? I think it works. Ooh,
That is so
okay,
wild. That is
okay.
so wild for
I
that
think I
name.
got some ideas here. Okay, so looking this over.
I told you, Chet. I told you he would have ideas. I told you.
So, okay, what action is the help act? Is that the full action?
It is.
Okay.
Unless something specifically gives it to you as a bonus action.
So this thing gets its Steel Defender, and it also gets the battle ready. So we can't really give, like, it doesn't make sense to give Marshall efficiency, and we can't give him expertise. And the weapon attack, the magic attack doesn't really make sense. He's already going to do that, right? So here's my alternatives, because we are going to give him the defender in our own way, but we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
So here's what I'm thinking for before we get the defender. So looking at the fighter, by now we've chosen a fighting style. Can't do anything with that. That's just going to be the flavor of your character build, right? I don't want to mess with that. I don't want to like do individual,
You
like,
don't want to make it matter so much which one is which.
exactly. You're going to choose your fighting style. That's fine. This has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
The next thing you get is second wind. So you have a limited well of stamina that you can draw it on to protect yourself from harm. On your turn, you can use a bonus action to regain hit points equal to 1d10 plus your fighter level. Once you use this feature, you must finish a short or long rest. What if one of the abilities at 3rd level, instead of proficiency in martial weapons, is you can use your second wind to heal an ally within 5 feet. Essentially, you give up your second wind to give to them. So that's one of the options.
I like that.
That's
I
all.
like
All
that.
we're doing is modifying how you use a thing you already get.
Sure.
And here's the other one. I think you can use the help action as a bonus action.
I definitely like the help
So
action as a bonus action.
imagine as a fighter, you're in the midst of it, and you could just go get up, heal.
Imagine you're like adjacent to somebody who's like trapped in something and they have to make a check to get out of it, and you're standing right next to them, and you can, as a bonus action, you could still do whatever you're doing with your attack action, but like as a
Right.
bonus action, just be like, all right, I'm gonna help you, give you advantage on your next.
Right.
That would be absolutely
Like being able
fire.
to,
Yeah.
like, I think that right there, because we're not changing anything else we can do. It's already something that they have.
Yeah.
We're just letting him apply it to somebody else.
You know what? I wouldn't even mind making this an additional use of it.
Well, so you just get like you get one use for you, one use for a party per
Sure.
long rest.
Yeah.
So like basically it would say like you get one additional use of at level 3, you get one additional use of second wind to use on an ally.
Basically, yeah.
Gain one use of second wind or ally. Perfect. I like that. And then
Yeah.
are we cool with the help action as a bonus action?
I very much like that.
It's small,
I
but
very much like that.
but I feel like it goes with what we're trying to do here.
It's very small. I feel like that's huge. And it feels like it fits so much for number one being a fighter and number two being a medic. Like out here in the middle of the battlefield trying to make sure everyone's going to stay alive while fighting everything else off,
Mhm.
right? Imagine somebody just like knocked one of your allies down and they're now knocked prone and they got to make a check to like actually stand up, or maybe they're grappled or whatever the case. You can get right next to them and start hacking away at the person that was trying to knock them down, while at
Right.
the same time giving them advantage on trying to stand up and get out of that mess. It's wild. It's wild. And then being able to use your second wind on them and heal them up a little bit while that's happening, that's got to be the most clutch. Everyone's gonna be like, please come. And then imagine they have a cleric on their team and everyone's like, screw the cleric. Cleric never heals anybody anyways.
Right.
Come over here, fighter, please.
So
And he's just
I'm thinking for the defender, I'm thinking it should work as is, except replace all instances, like it uses your strength instead of intelligence. So it's bonded with you. So all in terms of like its hit points
okay.
are 2 plus your strength modifier.
Okay. Do you think it's worth giving them the option between strength and dexterity? Because a lot of the times
Sure.
when they would pick
Depend on the subclass, or not the subclass, but depend on the build. So uses strength or dex instead of intelligence when needed, because not all of these things use either of those.
Okay.
Wow, going through them. Okay, so also with the Artificer, level 5, we got an extra attack. Now at level 7, we get another archetype. Now, granted, we got an extra attack at level 5.
Already.
So 2 levels later, we're getting a new buff that the Artificer isn't. And we already got the same buff.
So the Artificer got their extra attack at level 5, right?
And so did Fighter. Fighter Core gets an extra attack at level 5.
yeah.
Fighter Subclass gets an upgrade at level 7.
And what is Artificer?
Artificer goes to level 9.
Is the extra attack that Artificer gets, is that a part of their base class?
No,
is
that
part
is the
of-
subclass. The subclass gets the extra attack.
That's what was throwing me off.
That's why we're having a problem, is Fighter already gets an extra attack at level 5. Now at level 7, they're going to get something else. We can flavor that as your Steel Defender gets an extra attack. So you as a fighter are going to be on par, but now you're giving your defender an extra action in the round.
I like that a lot.
Okay, so instead of you getting it, you're basically taking the Artificer's extra turn and giving it to the construct, your defender. There gets an extra action or extra attack.
I would say attack.
Okay. So at 5th level, Core Fighter got an extra attack, and at 5th level, Subclass Artificer got the extra attack. So instead, when at 7th level, Fighter would normally get a subclass feature, but instead of giving them just an extra attack, we're giving their construct a whole extra attack. So it now has 2 attacks it can do in the battle.
That's not 7th level.
Not till 7th, no. But again, you're kind of already in par. So we could change that too. We could give him to something else as well. Instead of giving him the attack, I still think we do the defender, but we can give him something else.
No, I mean,
because the defender doesn't do much. The defender really isn't going to like be game breaking. So I think that's
I was
okay.
just talking about how much I liked the fact that that's what we did, that we're allowing the defender to do that and be used a lot more strategically, kind of like the Echo Knight. What about being able to heal through your construct, like having it be able to administer first aid to your, say you can't particularly get to them, but your steel defender could, for whatever reason, you could get them up.
I like the idea of healing.
I see what you're saying.
Okay, so we have attacking to the creature, healing through the creature. Those are the two examples so far, the two ideas.
Yes.
Okay. So what if instead of extra attack, what if it occupies an adjacent space to an enemy, to your target, you get advantage? Like it gives the classic like flank.
Oh, like a pack tactics almost?
Yeah, so what if we did that where, because it's not like an extra attack, it's not quite an extra attack, but like, again, it's more situational. If you call it closer to you, it constantly adds that distraction. How would a fighter use it? A medic would use it to defend themselves, but a fighter would use it to gain advantage in combat. So what if, as long as it's within 5 feet of your target, you get advantage on attacks? Is that too powerful? Is that too much? Because that technically means as a fighter, you'd permanently have advantage on basically anything that you fight. If you didn't go have it heal someone, it's going to be right there giving you advantage. So that might be too powerful. Ooh, we can give the defender a reach on deflect attack. The defender imposes disadvantage on an attack roll of one creature it can see that's within 5 feet of it. What if we move that to 10? What if it could jump?
Oh, I like that.
So instead of giving it an extra attack, just say that its ability can just be used at 10 feet. Both?
Especially if that's all you're getting.
So defender gets an extra attack. Defender deflective attack. Okay. Do we want anything that the fighter gets? This is all so far about the defender. So the defender gets 2 buffs. Do we want to give the fighter something?
Okay. What if you can't roll under, if you rolled under a 9, like a 9 or under, the die roll is a 10, like with the exception of a natural 1, obviously. And so like saying that it's like a guaranteed 10 on anything that they gave you the help action on.
How about, since we're leaning on this, the healing aspect, what if, taking that idea, what if after using second wind, when rolling for healing, re-roll 1s? So when you use second wind to heal yourself or someone else, you can't roll 1s. You can't minimum.
Okay. Now, is it like infinitely re-roll 1s?
Because I'm thinking about how the tiefling works with luck. Where they basically they can't, or the halflings, because they can't roll 1s, right? Like they just can't.
No, it's
or is
not
it only
like
a one
that.
time?
I think there's got to be a limit to that.
There might be a limit to that one. That's the one I'm thinking about. So we're okay with the defender getting the 2 things, though, right? Now we're just looking at 1 more for the actual fighter. Like the fighter should get something. I like those 2 for the defender. They get an extra attack, just like the fighter would, because they're now attached to a fighter, and their deflective attack has 10-foot reach.
Yeah,
I think those are dope.
I think that's perfect.
And then I really like this idea that you can use second wind on an ally, right? And it's a 10 plus your fighter level. So again, imagine that you just can't roll a 1 on that D10.
Oh.
Because that's the whole point, is you can't roll any 1 on that D10 roll, you re-roll it.
Specifically for second wind? Just
for second wind. So whenever you heal yourself for an ally using second wind, you can't roll a 1. That was my intention, is you re-roll 1s on second wind. Because this way it leans into you being a really good healer and focusing on being able to maximize your heals.
I mean, can't you use second wind through the defender?
That would be interesting. I wouldn't mind. So should that have had it happen at 3rd level, or being able to use second wind through your defender? When should that have been able to happen?
Oh,
like 3rd level or now?
I mean, I think they maybe should have started off with it.
So should we just say you have a second wind, or should we give the construct from level 3 a second wind? Like your construct has a second wind it can use on allies, or it can use on a target. So you either it's a second one for you or a second one for any ally. So instead of it just being 1 for the ally, what if we just gave a use of second wind to your defender
that it can use on an ally,
that it can use on any ally, including yourself?
If we're gonna, I know this sounds really weird, but if we're gonna separate it like that, because I was kind of worried about this earlier, especially because of how second wind is.
Right.
It's kind of like action surge-ish.
Yeah.
But saying you can use it, your proficiency modifier, number of times, specifically in your construct. Your construct can use it 3 times on allies only.
I'd be okay
You.
with half your proficiency bonus because then up to 3 times.
So
Just-
at level 20, you
get
think
3
only
uses.
using 3 times is
I feel like that's good.
okay.
Again, because we're already healing.
So half your proficiency bonus rounded down.
Rounded down number of times. Just so you can use it. Yeah. So okay. So at 3rd level, defender gains
I think-
second wind equal to efficiency bonus divided by 2 for allies. Cool. Okay. And you can do the help action as a bonus action. So I think that still does everything else. I think that's totally fine
agree.
for early on.
Yeah.
Your defender basically now gets a boost to heal. You basically can now use your defender to heal your allies at a distance automatically from the get-go.
It's like your on the go med kit. Wait.
I'm gonna give a 3rd option at level 3. Defender gains second wind with a proficiency bonus limit. The help action is now a bonus action, and you can use your second wind on an ally within 5 feet. If you're the medic, we shouldn't just be 100% relied on this thing. I still like the idea that you can give up your own. You're not getting an extra one; it's your extra one.
Sure,
but I
sure.
still think that you should be able to sacrifice your own for the heal. That to me is more
Okay.
of a battlefield medic.
I
need to be able to do
agree
CPR.
with that. I do agree with that.
So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with those 3.
Here's
I
the-
don't think it's too bad. I don't think it's too powerful.
That's fair.
I think we're doing it correct. But then that brings the question: if we've modified the 3rd level, now coming back to 7th level, we have the defender gets an extra attack. Defender's deflect now goes to 10 feet. Now that we've added those things to the 2nd, do we give the fighter something at level 7? Because again, now the defender's been upgraded, what do we give the fighter to do? Like, does he get anything now? Does he
At
get a
level
second?
7.
Yeah. Does he get a second wind at this point? So now he can do 2. I don't know if that would be okay. Can he now do is just,
Describe to me what deflect does.
from the defender?
Yes.
The deflect imposes disadvantage on an attack roll of one creature now at 10 feet it can see.
Can we give that to him too? It's not Healy.
Yeah,
It's battlefieldy.
interesting. So as a reaction, give you a reaction to impose disadvantage if an adjacent ally is attacked with a melee attack.
Yeah.
Okay. So 7th level, impose disadvantage
Oh.
attacked melee adjacent ally attacked melee. I'm okay with that. Any concerns?
1.
What are we thinking?
Damn it. It's not a feat. It's a fighting style
Oh, that does that?
that does that.
Okay.
It's a little bit more widely accessed. All paladins, all fighters, all
Imposing disadvantage when someone next to you gets attacked.
rangers have the ability to access this particular fighting style, which would enable you it says when a creature you can see attacks a target other than you within 5 feet of you, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage. So it's the 5 feet version of it.
Gotcha.
But you must be wielding a shield. So specifically protection systems, you have to be wielding a shield. So maybe this allows you to do it despite not having a shield. And maybe that makes it different enough.
What if we added in language that said any creature healed by second wind imposes I don't know how the verbiage would basically anybody that just got second wind attacks against them have disadvantage until the start of their next turn.
Oh.
Not your next turn, their next turn, as in, hey, adrenaline rush, move, get out of here, dodge this next incoming attack, and then when it's your turn,
I love that.
then
name for
you
it
can
too,
you can
Adrenaline
go.
Rush.
So it's either that or this is a little bit weird because it's not a rogue, and I think if it was a rogue subclass coming from a rogue subclass, this would make more sense.
Sure.
But letting anybody who had who just got second win also use the disengage action. But that sounds like more like if it came from a rogue to fighter, that would be more fun. I don't
Sure.
feel like it feels like artificery. But I kind of like the idea of somehow saying that when you use second wind, it's not just a heal, but the worst thing that it feels is when you get out of death saves, you immediately go down. That's where second wind feels good to be able to do that to an ally. But what else can you do to make them have a chance to leave?
Yeah.
Something like that I feel would be great. Being able to switch places with the person that you just healed. You know what I mean? Like
I think we were
like-
just talking about how that mechanic is underused.
I mean, would you want to just do that then? Is the defender gets an extra attack, defender deflect has 10-foot reach, and when using second wind, you can switch places with an adjacent ally.
I almost don't want to tie it to the second wind. I almost want to just say you can just do that. Like I might make it.
Okay, what about this? Tell me if this is too bad for 7th level. Whenever you roll damage for a melee attack or healing for second wind, you can choose to swap places with the target. So this is essentially anybody you want. If you do damage to someone, you can swap places. If you heal someone with second wind, you can swap places. That's just now your ability. You have battlefield control. You can swap places, put yourself in front of somebody, get the enemy away from your target, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But it ties it to you have to either do damage to them or you had to heal them. Because I don't know if just being able to swap places with the person you healed is strong enough for like a 7th level.
Yeah.
It provides the opportunity that you basically got them up and then got in front of them. And it kind of did the whole anime or the movie trope where you get them up and stand in front of them and you're like, get out of here. Like that's the idea I imagine is you're standing there like you good? Now get out of here, kid.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole point, right? You got in front of it so they could leave without opportunity attack.
Yeah.
So those are some of my ideas. I don't really know.
I do like that idea. I really do like that idea of specifically being able to switch places with them.
I think I've talked myself into it. I kind of like this. You get to switch places with anybody you damage or heal, melee or with second wind.
I imagine because you can replace any attack roll with an attempt to grapple or an attempt to shove. And so theoretically, as somebody is passing by, you could use it as an attempt to grapple, and if it hits, you switch places with them. And if you switch places with them, now that they're grappled, guess what? Their speed is 0. And that was on a reaction. That means in the middle of you jogging past me, I just put on the brakes.
Yep.
And I stopped you in your freak. That's a lightweight sentinel move right there.
Yeah.
Like I think that would
so
be
we cool. Are we cool with that? Okay. So
I think that would be so cool. I think that would be so cool.
Melee damage or second wind. So melee damage or second wind heal equals switch places.
Yeah.
Along with defender gets the extra attack and defender deflects goes to 10 feet. I think all of those great at 7th level.
Okay.
All right. So for 7th level, I think we are doing really good. We have a defender that has an extra attack. The defender has the deflect attack can now go to 10 feet. So it can pose disadvantage at 10 feet.
Love
and whenever we do melee damage or heal with second wind and roll that damage or healing, we can switch places with the target.
Beautiful. Absolutely
I absolutely think that that's just like a chef's kiss. Thinking about a battlefield medic, that's what you want. You want someone that can move the people off the field.
And you know what's awesome is even though it works on your enemies this way, it also works on your allies. Forced movement does not provoke opportunity attacks.
Exactly.
So like your downed ally, boom, I've just moved you out of there. You are safe. You're not going to get an opportunity attack on you.
And you're not a squishy. You literally stand in between them and the attacker and ready. You are ready for the attacker. You are bound because you're not doing magic. You're just really good at being a field medic. Okay, so moving on. Now we have to look at our 10th level abilities. So Artificer at 9th level, they got the Arcane Jolt. Now, with this, they were able to harm or heal. And whenever you hit a target with magic weapon attack or the Steel Defender hits a target, you can channel magical energy through the strike and create one of the following effects. The target takes an extra 2d6 damage. Or choose one creature object you can see within 30 feet. Healing energy flows to that chosen recipient, restoring 2d6 hit points. So I kind of like going along with this, adding to the healing that we can do. So before we were talking about how later down the road, like second wind isn't a lot. What if we added this to your second wind? So what if at this stage, at 10th level, you add 2d6 to your second wind? And we add that you can't roll a 1 when healing. So now your second wind does 1d10 plus 1d6 plus your strength modifier or plus your fighter level. So you get a 1d10 plus 2d6 plus your fighter level whenever you heal or heal an ally. And I would love to have it in here. You can't roll a 1. That's 20. That's at level 10. That's 32 points of damage that you can heal if it all goes well. So that's my argument. Everyone cool with that?
Like
Are we cool with this for a level 10 ability? Okay, so level 10, we're gonna say
this is 10, not 9.
This level, they're level 9, our level 10.
Got you.
So damage plus 2d6. So damage is plus 2d6, self and defender, magic weapon. So self, magic weapon, and the defender can get a 2d6.
What type of damage is this? Is this just whatever their original damage type is?
This says force damage, so I'm okay just
Keeping it
also
force
call
damage?
it 2d6 force damage, because then it's neutral. I feel it's good to be neutral. Second wind gives 2d plus 2d6 healing. And then you can use this a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier.
And it's already, for us, it's already limited. The amount of times we're getting to use this is already limited. So
yeah, I don't feel like, and it's so much boosted already. Like we're doing, I think we're actually doing more healing at this point than the Artificer was. So this actually might be better than the Artificer. I don't think we need anything else. I think that's fine. So. It's basically in line with what Arcane Jolt does. Okay, so Artificer at level 15 and their final level, they got improved defender. So their Jolt and their Steel Defender became more powerful. Their damage went up to 46. I'm totally okay keeping in line with that, saying that now damage and your second wind both go up to a 46. Just keep in line with that. Same exact abilities, but they just all go up. And then this gets 2+2 to armor class. I'm okay with that. And
real quick, this extra damage that we're getting, is that for every attack? Or is that...
So this one was technically limited. So Arcane Jolt is actually limited to the number of times, right? That's all together. Like you could only use that a number of times as an Artificer. Like for your turn. And it was equal to your intelligence modifier.
Okay.
So if we want to say that in this particular case, we could call this one Adrenaline Rush or Adrenaline Jolt.
Okay.
And this one altogether is limited to your proficiency bonus. So your other dude still gets the number of, you half your proficiency in the amount of times he can use second wind, but you get the number of proficiencies on how many times this triggers.
How many times you can use the extra damage?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm okay. So damage for self per proficiency bonus. So yeah, so damage plus 2d6 for, so 10th level damage self limited to, so limited to proficiency bonus. So level 15 then, I kind of like the idea of just all of these, just increasing the damage and the healing. So from 2d6 to 46, giving the defender an extra AC, and the defender does damage when it uses deflect. All of those seem fine. And we still have one more level. We still get one level as a fighter.
I do agree that does not feel like a capstone.
Not for a fighter, but I feel like this is a good stepping stone.
Yes.
Agreed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm not mad at any of those things.
So let's do that. So all of this is now a 4d6 and healing is a 4d6. Again, we're a fighting healer. We're doing more damage than most other fighters and we're able to heal.
Yeah.
Better than some healers. I ain't tripping on this at all.
Agreed.
Okay. I like all of that. So capstone time. How is this supposed to look when it is all said and done? Oh, and I already got an idea. Because the echo, you get 2 echoes. What if you get 2 constructs? What do you get 2 defenders?
Well, with your lore, how are you going to explain the second one?
You've tinkered and repaired it so many times you can reproduce it just once. But you've just learned how to mimic it, and then you get a second one on the battlefield. Everything else applies. But now you have 3 locations you are on the battlefield to heal and do damage. So that's option number 1. Right out the gate, you basically get a second defender. 18th, your fighting spirit can delay the grasp of death. If you take damage, that would reduce you to 0. You can delay that damage immediately, take a bonus action, interrupting the current turn. Wow, being able to use second wind as a reaction would kind of be like this. So like you can, instead of it being like a bonus action to use it, you can just, nope, reaction, I'm not going down to 0. I'm gonna heal 32 hit points right now. I could see that as an option as a capstone. Meant both of those. Being able to use that as a reaction and getting a second defender could be a good capstone. Okay, so those are my 2 options so far.
Okay.
I think this makes you, imagine just the battlefield control you'll have as a fighter and as the backup meta. Like I think this is the key right here. Having 2 of them I think would be key. I think it would be kind of cool to also be able to do this as a reaction to heal yourself or instantly heal an ally that's about to go down next to you.
And do they each get their own reaction?
Why not? They're independent. They're individual. This is a capstone, man. I say let them have it. We wanted to add the ability to move someone like 10 feet instead of 5 feet when you switch places.
What about getting to use a little bit of movement speed with your reaction to do all that?
Like you can when
maybe
using
half your movement speed, so you can do exactly that. If somebody's about to get hit in a fireball, you can run in and move them out.
So as a reaction, you can move up to half your speed without provoking opportunity attack to intercept.
To basically do the thing, like to basically do your
The second wind on somebody?
second wind on
So
somebody.
when using second wind, as a reaction, you can use second wind to move up to half your movement
and then when
without
you
provoking
switch-
opportunity.
And then when
Okay.
you switch places with them, you can.
Oh, you want both. You want to be able to move and to be able to move them even further.
I mean, it is capstone.
Let me write this out just so I can remember all of it once. So
Okay.
the ideas right now for the capstone are a second defender, own PB pool, and its own reaction. We're also thinking second wind. You're just allowed to use second wind as a reaction. I think that plays into this next part, which is when using second wind, use half move to ally, no attack of opportunity, and then also when switching places, plus 5 feet of movement. You can move the target an additional 5 feet outside of switching places, or 10 feet. I feel like 5 feet might be enough because then that puts them 10 feet away from the target.
I'm tempted to say 10 feet is fine, especially because
It's like you're throwing them out of the way. It's like literally you're done.
Yeah.
You know, because the idea is that you're moving that.
you're getting
movement.
them at
even
least
if you're
a
not.
bit
You're...
of distance from you. And
Okay, so the capstone is that you get a second defender with its own pool and its own reaction. Your second wind can now be activated as a reaction. And when using second wind, you can choose to move up to half your movement towards an ally, not provoking opportunity attack. And when you choose to switch places with a target, you can choose to move that target up to 10 feet.
yes.
I think that's phenomenal.
So it says whenever you switch places with somebody, you can then choose
to move them 10 feet. That's how
Gotcha.
ours will read. I mean, I'll send you all the notes, but that's how ours will read. I think that is absolutely phenomenal. I can't imagine a party that would not just die for something like this. A fighter that can hold their own, be taking out enemies left and right, but also be a backup healer, be able to swoop in, get someone from dying, throw some heals on them, get them out of the way. You'll never have a wizard locked in a bad moment again. This guy swoops in, gets the wizard out of there, takes the blood of it, and then the wizard gets to turn around and prep their spell. Like, and then the cinematics, just the way we built this feels just like the true hero. Okay, I am super happy with this build. I think we did it. I think this is solid. I can't wait till you put it all together in the build up and everything. But honestly, I think this might be our best. Like, I loved the Echo Knight. I loved the Echo Stalker that we made. The Rune Knight Warlock, the Rune Giant was kind of cool. But this might be my favorite. So out of the ones that we've made, this is the one that I want to play. I really want to make a character based off of this. A fighting medic.
Kinda.
I am
Kinda. Like, I want to see this in action so freaking bad.
This is what Subletting Subclass is all about. It's taking that concept of the lore and applying it to a fighter. A fighter was gifted this little thing. Maybe his dad was an artificer. Maybe you found an artificer on the battlefield. Maybe you and an artificer used to be stationed together. And then when it went down, like, there's so many ways that you can just decide how you got a hold of this thing, but it's no longer a tinkerer's device. It is a device that has now stood next to a fighter who is willing to defend people. And that's right. It's not just about defending people who are weaker. It's about making sure people can stand. So it's such a different twist on the hero mindset. And I think it breaks that stereotype out of needing a healer in the party. I think we just proved that you can make a healer that also does some shit without making it feel like you're just OP and you can do everything. But being able to do more damage than the average fighter is nice, but I'm not getting any specialties with it. It's just more damage out of my raw attacks.
For sure.
And I'm being able to heal, but I'm sacrificing
can't do it infinitely, and that was gonna trip me out. It's only 2d6. It's not crazy. Well, it goes up to 4d6, but still.
And that's why I love the way that we made this thing progress, because the damage progresses well. It makes it feel like you are progressing as a fighter. I feel like this fighter is one that you want constantly moving. You want him attacking, moving, healing, attacking, moving, healing. This is not your standard fighter who just pivots in one spot.
Although I will say they might end up being the one standing between the BBEG and somebody else at some point in time, blocking, deflecting, retaliating, whatever.
All right, so real quick, we got to do one thing before we finish. We got to name all this stuff. So we got the Battle Medic. Are we cool with Battle Medic? Because I think Battle Medic works. I'm totally down with
Battle Medic.
I think it really emphasizes everything. It's the perfect expectation.
Yes.
Battle Medic fighter, I should be doing damage and healing. So let's look at third level. This one for the Battle Smith. So they got Battle Ready, which we converted into gaining our second wind and being able to use it on an ally, and we can bonus action, and then
being
we
able
get
to use it through your
yeah, and then the defender getting its own
Yeah.
second. So we got the defender and the steel defender. I kind of wouldn't even mind renaming the defender to like nurse.
steel nurse. Okay.
I kind of like that because that's more about what it is, right? Maybe not nurse because it also does damage. It's not just a healer.
Steel aid.
Steel aid. Ooh, steel aid. Iron nurse. Like makes it feel like a little bit more like it's gonna like do some shit. Ooh, what about embattled nurse?
Embattled?
Yeah. Involved in or prepared for war, especially because of the surrounded by enemy forces. So embattled. Like this thing meant to just be an aid. It was a steel defender, but because now it follows the fighter, it's an embattled nurse. It's ready to fight, but its also primary objective is nursing.
Wild. I like that.
Okay, so embattled nurse. So this one gave us battle ready, right? So battle ready for the artificer gave them weapon proficiency and gave them a better use of those weapons. Our battle ready gave us a second wind ability. So it gave us the ability to heal others through ourselves and our defender. So instead of battle ready, we could do battle minded.
I don't know why I want to say battle hardened.
Battle hardened. We can call it battle chirurgeon, which is the old school like field medic.
Oh.
Or could just call it chirurgeon, like level 3 chirurgeon, which is just like the field medic.
I like that.
So yeah, chirurgeon is basically the medieval name for a surgeon. All right, so we cool with naming it that then?
Yeah.
So moving on to level 7, Artificer got the extra attack. We got the defender getting an extra attack. The defender got the advanced or the deflect at 10 feet, and we got to do the switch places. So this is definitely more like battlefield control. This is definitely more battlefield tactics. So if we're going to do chirurgeon, what if we keep on with that name nomenclature and do tactician? Or ooh, interposer.
I like that. I do like that.
Because they're getting an extra attack, they're getting to impose more disadvantage, and you get to heal while swapping people. So you're imposing yourself on the battlefield.
Yes.
Yes. So you have the chirurgeon, you have interposer. So 10th level, so we got to keep that naming structure. So 10th level, we had arcane jolt, which does more damage. For us, our 10th level, we do more damage. Our second wind does more healing, and now it's tied. So we just get a boost of what we can do. More damage, more healing. And this is just on top of what we're already doing, right? Like literally it's force damage. We're just dealing extra damage just out of the veracity of saving our buddy.
I was thinking enhancer or empowerment, something along those lines.
Aggressor. Because you're just doing more damage, more healing, so you're just being more aggressive about it. So we can just call this battle minded, because now you're just more aware and able to like react better. Or battle heightened, because everything's just more damage, more health. You're in the moment. You're just you're zoned into it, so you're heightened from the battle.
And I say that like even fits with a lot of 5th edition, because in for sorcerers they have a heightened spell where you get to I think you just get to do max damage.
Ooh. And because it's limited to your proficiency bonus, it is a heightened ability. You have to activate, right? So in the moment you're battle heightened, but it's not something that you just always are, right? Yeah. So we can do battle heightened.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't know if it really goes with the first 2 nomenclatures, but I still kind of think it's still in line with everything we're seeing.
Yeah.
Because you become a chirurgeon, then you become the interposer, then you become battle heightened, and then we move on. So the next one, 15, this is where we got improved defender from the artificer. For us, we are increasing our damage and our second wind healing. And our defender has more AC and does their other thing. So again, this one, improved defender. So before, the defender was called the embattled nurse. So this one could be, what if this one's called field medic? Like embattled nurse is kind of like a low end, just like, I'm just helping out. But now you're a full medic. Now you are just as important as me on this battlefield. So that's so level 15 is field medic. I am now on the field. I'm able to damage. My guys are out here. We're here to help. So
that's fair enough.
It's either that or like ambulatory, because that's kind of like, again, with the medic aspect, being able to move people around.
I don't mind field medic. I like that one.
All right. And finally, 18th level, you get 2 defenders. You get a second wind as a reaction. Your second wind, you can move to an ally, and when switching places, you can move them up to 10 feet. Now, maybe this one is ambulatory, like ambulatory medic, because you're actually able to move them. Because ambulatory is movable or mobile. That's for in the related to medicine, able to walk, not bedridden, movable, mobile.
Okay.
So being an ambulatory medic,
Sure.
you can move to them and move them out. What are you? You're an ambulance.
Yeah.
So if we do,
I like that.
so let's see, what are some other Kyurgen and medic synonyms? Apothecary, herbalist, bone setter. That would be a hell of a name. Ambulatory bone setter. Sounds like a fighter name. You know what I mean? Like
Wild.
instead of bone breaker.
Yeah.
I kind of like bone setter. I wouldn't really mind ambulatory bone setter.
I like the name.
I think
it feels like it's not really in line with the other names that we have.
Really not though.
But outside of that, I love the name.
What about just ambulatory surgeon then? If you go from a Kyurgen to a medic, ambulatory surgeon, because at that point you're doing a lot of health and you're surgical with how you attack people. Like you have two assistants now, so you have a whole you basically have like a whole kit.
Sure.
So we could do battlefield surgeon.
I don't mind ambulatory surgeon or battlefield surgeon.
I think ambulatory surgeon, because the ambulatory, the movement part, right? I love that. No, I think that's it. You go from Kyurgen with a embattled nurse to an interposer, then you become battle heightened, then you become a field medic, and then an ambulatory surgeon, because you're moving people around, you're doing massive amounts of healing, you're stopping them from dying, and you're still in the battle. Like you're still I'm so happy with this. I cannot wait to see it drafted up and posted, because I think this is going to go down in the records. Like I have a feeling this one could be widely accepted, because no one's ready for a healing fighter like this.
Dude, I'm super excited. I'm super stoked. It's going to be way cool.
Well, I hope you are all excited in chat. Thank you so much for joining us today for your April community stream with Subletting Subclasses, where we took a Battle Smith Artificer and turned it into a fighter subclass that we are going to call the Battle Medic. So if you're on YouTube, let us know what you thought in the comments. Would you use this build? Are you really excited? Did you see anything that we didn't? And would you have done anything differently? Let us know, because we're really excited. But if you did enjoy, like, subscribe. It really does help us. And we'll be back next week with another video. Cheers.
Deuces, my friends.